I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Perhaps I need to keep going. Some people have forgotten. We're going to do a roll call. Welcome to all of our new CAC members. After we do our roll call, we'll have them to do a brief introduction before we go into our public comments. Ms. Frankie Jones. Ms. Kim Hetland. Ms. Mimi Martinez. Mr. Carlos De Leosa.
Present.
Colonel Cedric Carrington. Carlos is online.
He's online. I just need you to bring up your presentation.
We want to make sure that we can hear you, Carlos. So they're working out technical issues. Ms. Joanna Colbert. Ms. Diane Ziegler. Ms. Janine, is it Janine? Janine Quarles. Ms. Andrea White. Ms. Cabri Winters. Ms. Fran Tate.
Present.
Ms. Ebony DaCosta.
Present.
And Jeffrey Johnson. Mr. Carlos, can you hear us?
Yes, Chairman, I can hear you. The only issue is that I can't see the room. Usually you can see.
They're
everybody
working
that
on
is
the
in
camera
attendance.
and I hear you.
Okay,
We
perfect. I can hear you
acknowledge
as
your
well.
presence. Okay, thank you. We acknowledge your presence. At this time, we will have public comment. Public comment is reserved for only 3 minutes. We do ask that you will come, state your name, and you can share what you desire. Our agenda is posted online, so if you would like to speak towards the agenda, you may do so at this time. If you desire to have public comment in person, please stand behind the podium, state your name, and then carry on with your comment. Happy New Year. Good to see you.
My name is lifelong resident of Tampa. I've been talking to Keelan, been following her on Facebook, and I want to say publicly, I support the Bernie project. And I hope that the East Tampa CRA get behind her and that the funds will be delivered to her. I would like to see a black developer doing something in East Tampa that would benefit all people. And another thing I want to talk about, my pet peeve, how we coming along with the homeowners program, rehabilitation program. We get equity, like the new homeowners that's coming in with the liens on their new home. I would like to see the homeowners equity, the homeowners lien reach like 5 to 7 years, like the new homeowners who get funded to move in the neighborhood. I'm here in jams right now with the high insurance rates and the taxes. And we have been living in East Tampa for 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And we feel like we're just as important as the legacy business owners, although we're legacy homeowners. We are the ones that help the neighborhood down. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCray, I'm not for sure if there's a director's report, but as we go through the budget, could you tell us a little bit more about what we have for rehab program going into FY26 so we can make sure that we address her comment before she leaves? Anyone else for public comment?
County Commissioner disagree. I don't see any representation here from the county, which is very interesting. But I had a question regarding the post that she made online regarding the extension for the CRA. So it's more so a question, not that I have if I'm in favor or not. But I'm just curious as to why East Tampa CRA would be in need of an extension and what's impeding or slowing the progress for the East Tampa CRA at present. Thank you.
Thank you. Typically, we don't respond to questions, but Mr. McCray, can I respond to him? Mr. Robinson, thank you for your question. Over the last few months, several residents have come in to share their displeasure of East Tampa
Chairman, I hate to interrupt you, sir, but it is on mute right now. We can't hear you.
And for East Tampa can be accomplished. And the only way that we felt like that could be done is with having adequate time. And it is possible to ask for an extension from the sunset date to make sure that that cooperates with the CRP to ensure that everything that needs to be accomplished in East Tampa is done so. So that's the reason for that. That was the outcry from the public.
Sir. Good evening. Ernest Coney Jr. with the CDC of Tampa. Thank you for allowing me this few quick seconds to say some public comments. And to those who are new to the council, to the advisory board, welcome. We look forward to your leadership.
He talks really soft, so I'm not for sure.
On January 22nd, the CDC of Tampa will be having an impact tour. If you have not taken that tour, we definitely welcome you. You can go onto our website to register for that. It'll show you a lot of the great things that are happening in East Tampa on January 22nd, but go on beforehand to register for that impact tour. On January 26th, we'll have a intro to construction training program. So if you have any young folks who are interested in construction trades, that'll be another great opportunity for them to learn a skill. We also have a youth build grant as well for folks who are a little bit younger as well. On January 27th, we'll have a We Mean Business.
Hold on one second. We're gonna reclaim your time, but we want to make sure this is right so you're not interrupted.
All right, let me see.
Could we pause until he finishes?
I think I'm muted.
Please.
So January 26th is an intro to construction training for any young folks or either and over older adults as well. And on January 27th, we have a program, We Mean Business. It's Women Entrepreneurs Mean Business. So if you are an entrepreneur who wants to really do some amazing things, that's another great program for you. And then the last thing is on January 29th, we'll have Kingdom Legacy. That's the training program where we help people to understand how to create wills and trusts. We'll have attorneys there who will give you discounted pricing for that will and trust. And we also will help provide a template if you want to try to do the Ladybird deeds yourself. They'll go through the process of helping you to fill out that template, but you can hire them on a discounted rate. And as we all know, it's very important to make sure that our assets can be transferred to the next generation. Thank you.
If you email that to Mr. Nunez or Mr. McCray, he can send that out to our CAC and they can send it out to their association.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comments? Be there none in the chamber. Are there any public comments online? Being none, we're moved to our next action item, approval of November the 4th, 2025 meeting minutes. Is there a motion on the floor to accept the minutes as printed? Motion has been made by Ms. Andrea White. Second has been made by Ms. Fran Tate. All in favor by saying aye. Opposed, same sound. Those action items for our minutes have been approved. Tonight we have 5 different presentations. The first one is the director's update and introduction of new East Tampa CRA manager. Mr. McCray, as you're doing that, please allow the new persons to be able to do that, to introduce themselves. I don't know if Ms. Winters had an opportunity to introduce herself either, so the 3 of them will be able to introduce themselves. Mr. Nunez will come back with the CRA Sunset Extension Process Overview, East Tampa CRA owned land strategy, housing program and developer activities update, and then there will be staff reports, the East Tampa project tracker, commercial grants tracker, and East Tampa CRA manager report. If there's ever a time that the audience would like to have the agenda, please go online to the CRA page and you'll be able to receive that, as well as reach out to Mr. Nunez for that information. At this time, we'll have Mr. McCray, our CRA director, to go from here. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Winters, just a brief introduction.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cabri Winters. This is my 3rd meeting, but I am considered relatively new. I am an East Tampa resident and business owner, and so I'm here to learn more and to contribute to the group. So my business it works with influencer marketing. So it's just named after me, but I operate across the country, working with influencers, building their businesses, and organizing with brands.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Janine Quarles Atkins. I am a resident of VM Ybor. I am a snowbird transplant to Tampa from Boston, Massachusetts originally. I've been here about 6 years. So I'm excited. This is my very first meeting. And I'm excited to be here and to be a contributor to the East Tampa community. So I'm here to learn, listen, and again, hopefully be a contributor to moving the community forward.
Well, everyone would love to hear that they're from New England, so. Joanna.
Good evening, everyone. Is it on? Good evening, everyone. My name is Joanna Colbert, and this is my first meeting as well. I'm excited to be here. I am an East Tampa resident. I've lived in East Tampa for about 3 years now, and my business is real estate development. I help a lot of first-time home buyers. I'm a city-approved real estate agent, and I'm also on the advisory committee for the city for affordable housing. I'm very passionate about housing in our community, and I look forward to contributing.
Thank you all. Thank you for your participation in this volunteer board. So we appreciate you. Mr. McCray.
Actually, I should be fine. Members of the East Tampa CAC.
We have people online, so you definitely want to use your microphone.
Yes, please.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, members of the East Tampa CAC and community. Good evening, my name is Cedric McCray. I'm the current director for the Tampa CRA, and this evening I have the esteemed pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Felix Nunez, who is coming to us from Pinellas County. He came on board mid-November, early November actually, as the East Tampa CRA manager. We had a plethora of interviews, and they say cream rises to the top. So he's already jumping in with both feet to immerse himself in anything and everything East Tampa. And we've spent some extensive time, with ride-alongs and talking about the various projects, questions, concerns related to the East Tampa CAC over the last few years. And so I think he is very well equipped, has some extensive housing background. So, and I know that's an area of concern. That was one of his strengths also when we were looking at candidates for the position. So I'll allow him to say a few words and introduce himself, but thank you, and please welcome Mr. Nunez.
Thank you. Good evening. This is my first meeting too, so we're in the same boat. My name is Felix Nunez. I'm very excited to be the CRA manager for the East Tampa community. I'm looking forward to working closely with all of you and getting to make sure that your priorities and your vision is pushed out in the next 8 years. If I'm available at all times, you have my business card now with my phone number, my email. Please feel free to reach out with any questions you might have, regardless of what the question's about. I'm here to help. And if I can't get you the answer, I'll make sure someone gets you the answer as soon as possible as well. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Mr. Nunez, if you will go ahead and lead us into our presentation on the East Tampa Sunset process overview. And committee members, if you have any questions or there needs to be a motion, we can definitely do so at the end of his presentation.
Okay. So I shared in advance a more well-written, detailed steps of what it takes to move forward with the extension. I'm just going to go over the highlights here, and then we can ask any questions at the end. So understanding the CRA extension process, the legal framework, the required approvals, and the statutory limits under Florida law. Why this discussion is happening, the Community Advisory Committee at the last meeting requested clarity on how CRA extensions work under Florida law. what dates apply to the East Tampa CRA, who must approve the extension, and what is legally possible and what is not. So this presentation is informational only. No extension access is being requested. It's more for you all to understand. And then after this presentation, you can all discuss with the CAC and move on to whatever your next steps might be. The current CRA sunset date is September 30th, 2034. Oh, apologize. I have to share this. Is it there? Which one? Which? Yeah, take it from. I apologize. I have to share for the rest of the folks at home. Is that the presentation? Okay. I apologize. So as we were saying, the current CRA sunset date is September 30th, 2034. And if no action is taken, the East Tampa CRA will automatically end on this date. This is the starting point for all extension discussions, knowing when the sunset date is. Community redevelopment areas in Florida are governed, as most of us know, by Chapter 163, Part 3, and the Florida statutes. The key statutes that are relevant to extensions include Section 163, .360, 356, 387, and 3755, which revolve around community redevelopment plans, community advisory committees, tax increment financing, and CRA termination. I've included a full copy of the statute for all of you to have as reference, so it's easy to make a connection to everything we're going over today. A CRA extension is not automatic and it's not administrative. So under Florida law, CRA may continue only through a formal amendment to the community redevelopment plan, updated findings, FON, which is the finding of necessity, demonstrating continued redevelopment need, and public hearings and legislative adoption. So there are several steps to the process. And this is all governed by Section 163.360 of the Florida statutes. State law final deadline. Right now, Florida law establishes a statewide termination limit for all CRAs. No CRA may exist beyond September 30th, 2039. That's under the Section 163.3755. It's a hard statutory limit and cannot be exceeded by local action. The East Tampa CRA timeline, the local sunset date is September 30th, 2034, giving an impossible extension period through September 20th, 2039, so another 5 additional years. And the actual final date that we can exist with an extension granted, it would be September 30th, 2039, and any extension must fall within this window. In Tampa, the same elected officials serve in 2 distinct roles, and an extension requires action from both capacities, the CRA board and the city council. So although it's the same membership, the legal roles are different and both actions are required. The CRA board has to approve it and the city council has to approve it. Acting as a CRA board, the members review the proposed amendment to the community redevelopment plan, which would be the first step. They have to evaluate the updated redevelopment findings, which is the findings of necessity, and they'd have to take formal action under the Chapter 163 authority that's granted to them as a CRA board. This reflects the redevelopment policy judgment. Acting as a city council, next hat, they would hold required public hearings, adopt the amended community redevelopment plan by an ordinance, and then this step gives the plan amendment legal force under municipal law. The role of the CAC in this process is the Community Advisory Committee is established under Section 163.356, and the CAC reviews proposed plan amendments, provides an advisory recommendation to the CRA board and city council, and the CAC does not approve the extension but plays a critical advisory role in this process. The role of the county. Hillsborough County participates as a tax increment funding contributor, so they just contribute funds towards the CRA's TIF, which is tax increment financing. The county does not approve or deny CRA extensions. The county independently decides whether to continue financial participation, so they contribute at their pleasure. So county participation affects funding capacity, but not legal existence. This role is established under Section 163.387 of the Florida statutes. So if county participation changes, if the county were to discontinue participation, the East Tampa CRA will continue to exist within its authorized time frame as of now, 2034. The CRA would operate using city tax increment revenue only, not the Hillsborough County proportion. So the project scopes and timing may be adjusted to adapt to any change in funding from Hillsborough County. But this is the funding consideration, it's not a termination event. So the example of, I provided an example of a successful CRA extension. CRAs in Florida have extended their redevelopment plans through the statutory process. My example is the Overtown CRA for the city of Miami. They achieved their extension through updated redevelopment findings, a CRA board action, and legislative adoption by the city commission. So this demonstrates extensions are lawful and possible when pursued correctly. Timing considerations. Although an extension is legally possible, timing is strategic. Allowing additional redevelopment progress strengthens the factual record, clarifies the remaining need, and supports informed decision-making. So many CRAs focus on delivery while ensuring stakeholders understand the process early. So it's good to know the process now. We have 8 years, and then we can determine, do we want to strengthen our record, improve our standing in order to make a better impression towards extension. What is not being decided today, this meeting is not involving a request to extend the CRA, a proposed new sunset date, or any funding or governance changes. The purpose of this discussion is just education and transparency. I wanted to make sure that everyone was clear on the process and on the steps necessary to move forward with this. East Tampa CRA sunsets on September 30th, 2034, and that's the key takeaway, that the absolute final date is September 30th, 2039. So the most we will be able to extend is 5 years. Any extension does require a formal plan amendment, specifically calling for the extension, CRA board action, and city council adoption. And county participation, again, is only voluntary and financial. So they don't have to make they don't have any decision power whether we extend or not. And I just give you the context so you're aware who the players are that can make the decisions. Are there any questions or discussions? Colonel.
Thank you, Felix. A couple questions, actually. So are we able to coalesce? Are we able to coordinate with other CRAs in Tampa? And if we request an extension, can we do it from the whole of Tampa? Does it have to be specific to East Tampa CRA?
Well, each CRA is independent, so we have to move forward as East Tampa CRA. Okay. You can discuss it with other CRAs and maybe give each other action items and help come up with a formulated plan, but you're applying as an East Tampa CRA for an extension if one is requested.
And if we decide to proceed with an extension, this is just the following, I'm sorry, sir. Are we able to look at other examples like Miami that were successful that we can model ours after?
We could look at other examples. I can even connect with the staff from those other CRAs. We're all interconnected through our shared CRA work, and we can always get more information and best practices to help with the process if that's something we want to do.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Tate.
Ms. Tate.
Serving on this PSP for 4 years, there's definitely a need to expand. We have projects that need to desperately be completed. And looking at the timeline of the city and the movement of the various departments within the city, there's a definite need for that expansion, no doubt about it.
Understood. Okay. We're going to start with Ms. Hetland, then we'll go around. You have any comments on this matter?
Just one comment, question. It would seem that it being 2026, the extension process to really get the kind of wheels in motion would happen a little bit later than right now in order to be most effective, because that would give us the background information to show what's kind of in the pipeline and what we would be missing.
Correct.
As a result.
Correct.
What is the, I know you can't make a recommendation,
right.
But what would be an adequate timeline to show, that there's a multitude of projects that are still waiting? Because right now it would be, well, we've got 8 years or however many years of the CRA left, but we'd like another 5, and that's going to allow us to do X, Y, and Z, and that may be a little bit hard to project.
Right. There's all a projection, and we'd have to plan it out and think about it. It would, I would say, a 2-year period to 3-year period. That's my personal estimation. I'm not giving an official timeline, but that would be should be sufficient time to start the process, the change in the plan, the finding necessity, and getting the ball rolling on the requested
But that would
extension.
also require us to kind of continue to
Build up towards it.
building those projects and be building successes
Right.
to show that it's worthy of the extension.
Right.
Mr. McCray, do you know if the EBOR CRA, what kind of timeline when they extended EBOR 1 and 2, what kind of timeline did they start with? Was it about a 2 to 3 year?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but we can definitely find out.
And the 2 to 3 years, it's just anecdotal information I've gathered from doing my research. There's nothing like written in stone, or there's no. I just want to be clear on that part.
We're going to come around. Yes.
Hi, this is Mamie for the record. So just to clarify, because my question was, how long is the process to attempt to extend? So you're saying it could be a 2 to 3 year long process to get final approval of it being extended? Maybe.
I would say that would be a comfortable estimate, but it's not written in stone. It's not. It's just like I said, my assessment from reviewing other people who have done their extensions. But I don't want to say that's a hard yes or no. Yeah.
So we have to get updated findings, and similar to what Kim had mentioned, because we want to make sure that we're showing results and we're still in the process of trying to deliver outcomes. Right. So the first thing I'm thinking of is who is responsible for the updated findings? Do we have to outsource to a consultant?
Right, we would.
Cost money that we have to now, exactly. Right?
Yeah, a new finding of necessity requires a full study to be conducted, just as initially when you first started the CRA.
Right. So it probably would be in our best interest to kind of try to build a portfolio now, because what they're going to find may not be an optimal presentation to prove that it's valid.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, and then say that we did outsource and have a consultant to do the updated findings report. How long is that process?
Oh, I don't know. To be honest, I can get that information for you. I'm not sure how long an actual finding necessity takes to complete. It may take different times depending on the community and the amount of information to gather. This is a big region, so it may take a little bit longer. East Tampa is a pretty big area. But I can find that answer to that question, an estimated time to do a FON.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking it took us over a year for the CRP update. So in my mind, I'm thinking this is time consuming and we're going to need community outreach. It's just going to be a whole nother process all over again. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I will say this, and you could pass it to Ms. Colbert. You're absolutely right, Ms. Hetland and Ms. Martinez. But I think as a case study for movement of this, because our CRP has not been updated, because there has been public hearings, we can use that data to propose this with the amendment as we come to a place of agreement. So I think while we've been waiting on the CRP to be updated, we kind of fell in the right place for the extension, because the very things that we need will come from the data that's been collected for the CRP, why there's a need for an extension, what the community is saying. Only thing we need to do as a committee is to add an addition to that, an amendment to that CRP saying we would like to do this in order to extend the projects from the strategic plan and the CRP. This is the need. This is already the case study why that needs to go forward. That the majority of that is done. We already have a consulting group and they haven't completed the project yet. So I'm assuming just adding, additional dollars to that to be done. Just my think from a high level overview. Sure.
I agree 100% with that. In my mind, I'm thinking, because we already have Florida State who wants to shut us down. So I'm thinking we need to prove we are using the money wisely. And even though the CRP has been updated and we know there's a need, but we need to show that we're doing something about that need to prove that we want another 5 years, because look how well we're doing. So that's the piece that now we're in a good position to actually show we have the X, Y, and Z. We already know there's a need, but we need to prove why we're responsible for it.
That's what I said, because the process hasn't been completed, we can show that, and I think it will really prove our case for that. But we'll come back to that again, Ms. Cole.
Joanna Colbert, in your professional opinion or experience, we already see the positives for extending, but are there any negatives or anything we may not be aware of for extending?
I don't know what would make it a negative. I mean, uh, I don't have a good answer for that. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's always all the positives are there, but I don't, the only negative would be the process going forward and Hillsborough County deciding not to follow through, and then we wouldn't have the funding, additional funding from Hillsborough County. That's the one thing I could think of. The only negative. Do you have any?
No, I would articulate that. Keep in mind, we just went through the previous legislative session. There's going to be another session upcoming here at the beginning of the year. And, moving forward, there was an effort, or in the past, last year, there was an effort to sunset all the CRA so that we could not continue projects beyond the sunset date or create new projects. So that is still a thing. We anticipate there will be some legislation that will get legs related to property tax exemptions and things of that nature. What that looks like, we don't know yet. We are in constant communication with the Florida Redevelopment Association and getting updates on things that may be coming down the pipe, and so that we can then inform you. If, for those of you who were last year, you heard updates from me, and then if you were attending the CRA board, I would provide the CRA board with updates. So we don't know, but that could be a component that could, greatly affect that process moving forward. And then also, it's not just the CAC making the recommendation to extend. The board has to, to agree to do that, and then there are conversations that have to happen with the county government, and whether or not the will is there to support that effort. Because essentially, we're looking at buckets of money in various areas around the city that, the county may say, hey, we've been good partners here for the last 20, 30 years. Maybe we need to look at recouping some of that. And East Tampa will give you 50% of the money as opposed to the 80 or whatever that, wherever we are contractually within those agreements with the county.
And final question along those lines, because you did explain the process a little bit more. To file for an extension, is that done internally or do we hire like a consultant to do that? What is the process?
Well, the first step would be to update the CRP, to create an amendment, and we're actually in the middle of that right now. So that's what Dr. Jeffries was referring to, Dr. Johnson. Sorry. So since we're already in the middle of a CRP update, he figured this would be a good time to add that language and terminology showing that we're interested in moving forward with a plan extension, with an extension of the CRA. And that would be the first step. And since we're already in that step with a consultant, it could be an add-on if that's the way you choose to move. Then we would have to get the findings of necessity, and that is a consultant process. And that would be the next consultant involved process. And then, of course, the steps with all the governmental agencies and the approvals.
Thank you, Diane Ziegler. I appreciate all the work involved, and I think it shows a good overview of the steps that might be needed, but I feel that we're a little premature, again, because the CRP hasn't been finished, and the political climate in Tallahassee. We're doing really good work as a East Tampa CRA, and I think finishing a lot of these projects will continue to put a good spotlight on East Tampa. And the alternative is to rock the boat and draw attention from Tallahassee that may or may not be welcome. But, perhaps maybe then a motion tonight could be to just amend or in the process of finishing the CRP to add this extra language that we might be considering extending it, but that's not the actual process of going through all the public hearings and all of the other work involved,
Okay. That's cool.
Is there a plan on what would happen with the extended time? Like, I can imagine that the achievement of an extension also depends on how organized the communities are and how involved. So, like, what is the plan in the meantime to get people rallied around the extension?
Well, based on what we've discussed,
I'm gonna let Mr. Nunez, but I'm gonna say based on what we've discussed from a community aspect, there are certain corridors that we would like to see developed in East Tampa that has not been done. 34th Street, 22nd Street, Lake Avenue, portions of Hillsborough Avenue. All of those are commercial corridors that have not been properly developed with the extension to housing as well as business development. So you're going to need time to do that when it comes to development, when it comes time to planning with those that are going to be a part of that. And realistically, will that be accomplished in 8 years? That was a part of the original CRP for those corridors to be developed, and they have not. You drive down 22nd Street, it is not what it was intended to be. You drive down 34th Street, it is not what is intended to be. And so I believe that we can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time while we're doing all of this, but you have to start the process. We know based on the red state that we live in, CRA's on the chopping block every session. That can't stop us from doing what we do. So we have to move forward, and only thing they can do is tell us no.
It's fair to say there's enough work that needs to be done, right?
Say that again, sir.
It's fair to say that there's enough.
Absolutely. Based on the update that hasn't been done. I think that's the case study, Mimi, based on what was looked to be done in the first CRP that hasn't been accomplished. And you can say you need more than 8 years to do that. This is not the time to blame who didn't do what. It's just knowing while we're on this board, we're putting feet to this for it to be done, to make sure that those corridors are created.
I agree. I guess I was more specifically talking about like an organizing plan to support the legislative adoption, right? Like, is there a plan in place to really rally residents to show the community to be involved and to be present to, if we do get this extension, to move the CRA board to adopt the extension?
Mr. Director.
So to answer your question, there will be engagement with the community, and then those conversations will carry over to the CRA board and then the county commission. So yes.
Great question.
I'm Ms. White.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you.
My attorney later.
Ms. Winter.
Okay. I don't think there's any question that there's more that we could do with more time. I'm curious that in the process of applying for this extension, are we going to have to show, let's say, how we're going to get this done? If they do not, what are reasons that they have not given extensions? And I'm curious what happens if we don't get one. What happens to the property we hold, the projects that are incomplete, the projects we haven't started? What happens at that point?
Any at the time of sunset, any property that we hold that hasn't been developed or conveyed reverts back to the city, and the city has to take possession of it. Any funds not expelled at the end of the sunset reverts back to the city. I don't know of any CRAs that have attempted an extension and not gotten it. I can find out if that exists, or if anyone has tried and not gotten the extension. Was that all your answers? Was there one more?
No.
Okay.
You answered everything.
Okay.
I think for me, it's more so, if we get the time, I think we need to spend more time organizing what to do with the time and how we're using the time, as opposed to asking for more time, being more mindful with the time we have.
Understood.
Three times.
Ms. State?
Oh, excuse me. My attorney did respond. We have been studied by 3 consultants 3 times, and each one comes up with a plan, and nothing has been done from day one. It's like almost $1 million or a little less than $1 million that we've had on consultants. We haven't had the first sidewalk put in for our kids that are going to school. We haven't gotten a response from the city of Tampa on the Gator building. And when we say teamwork, the teamwork comes from who and whom, because nobody is listening to the residents. These are things that have been dictated as to what is going to happen on 22nd Street, what's going to happen on this street, and what's going to happen on this street. But what the neighbors and the community is asking for is decent, fair housing. We're not interested in looking like New York or what's on the other side of the river, because people in Tampa do not and have not been accustomed to living in over a business. We are a residential, original neighborhood community that has raised a lot of those people that are sitting in Tallahassee today and have forgotten where they have come from. So this planning and adjusting, if we're going to plan, let's plan to reduce what happens if it's reduced by 50%. We need to be ahead of the game. We need to know what the legislators that we're hiring are saying to Tallahassee. Are they saying anything? What is the support of our legislative delegation in Tallahassee doing for East Tampa? There's a lot on the table to think about, and we are nowhere near it. And this has been going on for how many years? Even before I got on the board, I was following the meetings. And nothing has changed. Nothing has been built. Nothing, absolutely nothing, not to what the neighbors and the community is asking for. It's the dream of what the city wants to see have done.
Correct, the decision for us.
I think I said it when I first spoke. I was a little bit out of turn, and I think I made my statement clear. We have to get these projects finished. We won't get them finished in 8 years. We know that. Each time we request a survey from the community, they do participate. They really do. Now they're tired of surveys. They want to see some action behind the surveys that we've gone out there and requested. I know I knock on doors. I text people. I call people. Hey, there's a survey. Please fill it out. I go to the office and I drop some of the surveys in the box outside of the office. The public is tired of surveys. They're ready to see some action.
Great.
Thank you.
Ebony DaCosta for the record. I just would like to second my colleagues that definitely time is of the essence, and we need to be very mindful of how we are spending our time and what we are focusing on. I definitely second our chair in regards to while we do have the resources available already, doing studies and data, that we need to be mindful of that and have that addition, because that can just be an add-on and it could be very useful information that we're going to need. And more than anything, as it's been echoed for some time now, the public wants to see action, and we have to work together collectively to make sure that we're making sure that feet are being held to the fire and that we're getting those results that we need to communicate for an extension. So that's all that I have.
The extension requires 4 things: a formal plan amendment, community focus groups. What's the language behind that? Focus groups, engagement component. And then it goes to the CRA board for action, the city council for action, and then the 5th step is for the county, whether they choose to participate or not. Is that correct? Tonight, we can make a formal plan for amendment to start the ball rolling, correct?
I might have a suggestion for the CAC, but
please.
I would suggest, and as we were having meetings in preparation for our February CRA board meeting, I believe East Tampa CAC chair is up to present and provide an update. At that time, I would suggest that that request be made of the board to look into extension.
But we still have to do a formal plan amendment. That's one of the steps, and that starts with the CAC.
Right.
That's why I was saying tonight, could that not start that formal plan amendment that starts with the CAC?
It could, and it should, but the board ultimately will be the ones that will direct.
Correct. Correct.
So
but
they're going to have to agree to do so.
Sure, but the amendment starts with us before it gets to them. They can't make any movement without something coming from us. The recommendation, correct. So the formal plan recommendation for amendment starts with us. Okay. All right. I yield my chairmanship to our vice chair to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we will go ahead and execute a formal plan for amendment
Through the CRP.
through the CRP. I'm sorry, for the CRP update.
Any questions?
Any questions or discussion?
I'm sorry.
No, you said, let's actually just go this direction, and that way we can, before we.
Well, we need to second it before we have them ready, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Who second?
I said,
Ms. Tate.
Sorry. Who was first?
So the plan amendment is we're already in a plan amendment. We're like
Correct.
mid-cycle. So this would simply be to incorporate additional time in what's already being amended, that plan. And I would like to see some supplemental data about kind of clear documentation of timeline and what the outcomes will be, because we do, as Ms. White said, we really need to see what those outcomes are. I think we also need to understand the political climate, especially with the county, because they can take their ball and go home. They can say, this is fine, extend it, but we are no longer going to fund it to the extent that it's been funded, or we may not fund it at all. So I think, you know, starting it now as a plan amendment, we've got a fair amount of time to kind of have those conversations between the city and the county. But I think we have to really clearly document, because otherwise it's going to be another 5 years of what? Because there, you know.
I guess I have a question for you, Felix. So we have to amend our current CRP to add in there that we want to extend it, but is our current proposed 2025 CRP, has that been finalized?
No.
Okay, so is this going to delay our CRP being updated? And then how is that gonna, because that's how we know what to do. So we would be operating on the 2004 CRP?
We wouldn't be able to complete the current update until we get all the new language put into it. So that would delay the whole process.
Right.
I think Director McCray wants to say something.
Yeah, and to be clear, at the February meeting, the East Tampa CRP update, we have completed the legal review by Attorney Shepard. It has been provided to the consultant to update whatever items that he suggested be updated, and it will go to the board at the February meeting, unless something cataclysmic happens.
There's another motion that will be put on the floor for that to be paused.
Yeah, you can do it.
That needs to be paused. Yeah.
I guess my concern is pausing the CRP, the updated CRP, because where does that leave us? Because no one's happy with the 2004 CRP.
Absolutely right. But I think we're already in a conundrum as it is, with people not comfortable with where we're going. I'd rather us get it right the first time instead of starting something, pushing it forward, and then the community is continuous in a place of outrage for what we're not seeing.
I do agree with that. I do. I'm just concerned that this extension process could be a couple years. And then I'm just concerned that the CRP is going to be delayed for a couple years. So time is of the essence, and we technically only have 8 years. So I just don't want us to be spending 2-3 years eating away at that. So we're at a pretty serious crossroads right now.
I heard what our colleague said about 2 to 3 years. I really don't see why that process would take 2 to 3 years, respectfully, sir.
Consultants, survey, finding necessity.
But that's when a CRP is already in place. Everything that we're looking to do is in midpoint with the information from the focus groups of the community that is already gone. They have the data there. It is more or less rewriting what it is that we're looking for them to do based on what it is. So that's what I think the difference is. Yeah.
So to my understanding, we got a motion on the floor, seconded, and right now we're entertaining unreadiness on whether or not we're going to proceed with an amendment for an extension to the CRP. It just seems out of place if we don't have closure on the current CRP. So I'm just trying to figure out, I absolutely do think that we can fill this gap between 2034 when it's supposed to sunset and 2039, and there's enough work to do for everyone. But the things I think about are what are the costs? Does it take another consulting? What is the work associated with it? My colleague asked, what is the cost or what's the negative downsides? So I just want us to be deliberate. I think we all can identify that there is a want or probably a need for us to extend to 2039. But do we really know all that we're signing up for if we ask for that? Anybody? Do we have a lot of extension experience in this room or from observation from the director or the
High level? No
yeah. Okay, yeah, these are just unanswered questions, but
it's right, exactly. To me, it's like one of those things we really don't know how the outcome is going to be until we start the process, because there are not enough case studies and preliminaries that we can refer to say this is what happened before, and we can probably look at a projection based on that to move forward. I do think that it puts us in a deficit by not doing anything.
Right.
Since we're already in the place, we have to have the CRP. Right. It's not like we don't have a CRP. It's being updated. So while it's being updated, do exactly what needs to be done to amend it so it's already done. So once it comes to city council, that part of what we need to be done will be completed.
Okay, thank you.
Is it possible? Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, for the policy. Ms. McCray, you're saying there's voting on this next month?
It's going to go before the yes.
For approval.
When we met back in November, they presented it was 90% done. It's going through the legal review. Attorney Shepard, right before the Christmas holiday, actually sent that back. We provided that feedback, his feedback to the consultant, and we're scheduled to present at the February 12th CRA board meeting.
So I don't think I have enough information to speak intelligently enough yet. But the CRP, if I'm hearing correctly, it's going before City Council in February, but we don't know what's in there.
Everyone
Oh, we do. Okay, so that goes back. Okay, got it. I don't know. Okay. Okay.
The consultants did come and do a presentation.
Okay.
Last year, and the board members have all had an opportunity to review it. So.
And if I heard you correctly, people don't like it?
No, that's not what we're saying. There are some concerns that the community has. The biggest piece is the community continues to say what they want to see, and it's not being done. So it has to be documented. So the CRP is the Bible, if you want to, that we use for East Tampa to regulate what we're going to do in our projects. So while you're in the midst of updating that, if the community is saying, this is the reason why I made the proposal 2 months ago, because the community is saying, we haven't seen this. This is what we want to see done. Do it all at the same time. Anything, it may go up before the board as an action item. But then if we vote on an amendment tonight, that too has to be shared with the board, that there is unreadiness, that the CAC would like for this to happen, and they would like to see this considered for that to be paused. It's not, they haven't voted yet, so you could still give them the information, and if they know right, they would pause it.
Correct, like they do a lot of most stuff.
I agree with my colleagues that we don't really have enough sample CRAs around the state of Florida that have done it. What did their progress look like, and what did they still want to add? I know we have a lot of projects underway. We have a lot planned. We have to do the execution of them. I know we need housing, but we don't need just housing. We'll be in a housing desert. We need jobs. We have to balance housing with economic development. There's no way to uplift the income without jobs. We have to have a balance of housing and economic development. That's the growth. That's where people come to. One of the they said, you know, people spend their money elsewhere outside of East Tampa. We don't want that. We want them to spend it here. We want to have our little businesses here, our entrepreneurs here, spend our money here. So I'm going to vote against this. I don't think we're ready for it.
I have no comment.
My concern is who is they and we besides the attorney that provided the update for the documentation? Why is that information not shared with the advisory committee or the board or whatever title we hold, that we find out about it after the fact, the changes? They may be all correct, but why isn't it brought to us as well prior to all these dates and times being set? I'm just not feel comfortable with signing off on something that hasn't been brought before us before now, and it's just going directly to the board. And it seems like the board, whatever we say in these meetings anyway, the board is going to do what they want to do or whatever their plan is. And I watched that presentation that was done, that was 90% done. And I had questions then, and I still got questions.
Oh, to answer Ms. White's question, the consultants have, in relationship to the scope of work that was created by the subcommittee at that particular point in time in 2022, 2023, there are still some individuals that were on that committee to help develop that scope of work that went to the RFP. Also, they have presented to the CRA, CAC for East Tampa.
Some of those people.
No, everyone. They've been here. They were just here October, November.
Right.
So yes, they solicited that feedback.
But we had a lot of questions at that meeting too. And nobody's come back to answer those questions.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I thought you were alluding to that they have not, or you all have not had the opportunity.
Every meeting we have been in, we've had questions and sent back, and they were diligently writing them down and saying that they were gonna come back to us. Nobody's come back to us.
Chair.
Ms. Franklin.
Yes,
Sorry. I'm hearing concern about the cost. I think I'm hearing a concern about hiring other consultants. We will use the same consulting firm that we have now that's working on the CRP, correct?
Not necessarily. That is not a part. An amendment would not be a part of the original scope of work that was developed with the RFP. So that would be separate.
That would be a different, but could we not use the same firm?
That would have to go through a bid process also. CCNA, we would have to have those conversations through our procurement department and contract admin.
Okay.
It's definitive to say what those options would be, but they are closing in on the end of their scope of work that was requested when the RFP was put in place back in 2023.
Okay, thank you. Now I understand why you all are questioning the firm as well as the financial. We would have to pay more money out, hire another firm, or use the same firm, whatever. Got you. Because in my mind, I was thinking, okay, we're going to use this firm, and we just asked them to add that amendment into the plan. I got you. I understand now. Thank you.
Can I conclude the conversation for my motion? You have two line items in our budget for contract services, $278,000, professional service, $299,000, that we haven't used, nor have we planned out how that money is going to be spent in those line items. We all, to my opinion, we have to be visionaries. I understand we're sitting here thinking about, well, what's going to happen in the now. We also have to think about what's going to happen to this board once we get off. What's going to happen to those that are going to come about? We have to start the process. It has to start somewhere. The money is there if we need to get a new consultant or add to what we're doing. Tonight, this amendment is for them to update the language, for us to request an extension for what we need to do to start the ball rolling. We're volunteers. They're paid to do this. They have to figure it out. Their city staff. So that may take some time, but then it's on their team to begin to do that. It starts with us making that amendment for what it is that we want to see for the people that we represent. And we've heard what the people said that they want. We are just saying we want an update amendment to the CRP for an extension. And then the team will go back and work on the other steps, those 5 steps, and how they're going to be incrementally done. So I want to make sure I conclude the motion to make sure that we're clear about what's going on. We're updating the CRP with the language for the extension, right? We're with that. That starts the ball rolling. It cannot start rolling until we do an updated amendment of the CRP that is in action now. And I yield my time.
Well, everyone's had discussion and motion, so we're just going to go ahead and take a vote. We'll start with Ms. Hedlund.
In support.
Okay. Or actually, all in favor? We'll do a roll call. Yes.
The motion is
Go ahead.
for the CRP to include the amended motion of the extension date from 2034 to 2039. This is the beginning of the 5-step process that Mr. Nunez has outlined of what we need to do for the extension of our sunset date. But it starts with an amendment. And since our CRP is already in motion and not voted upon, we will add that updated language. And then I will come back with a second motion for them to pause voting on the CRP that is going before the council in February so they can add this amendment to it. But that will be a separate motion. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. Okay.
So that's the first one that's on the table. We did?
This is the first motion.
Making sure we're good. I know that was a mouthful.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. We're good. We're good. We're just making sure there's clarity. Okay. So we're clear on the first motion, which is basically the update for the amendment for the extension. So that's the first part of the formal plan amendment. All in favor, if I can get hands raised. Okay. Keep them up so that Mr. McCray can count them, please. Okay.
That's the majority.
Okay. You got them, Mr. McCray? We good? Okay, got it.
I'd like to make a motion that our CRP
will be paused for the February board meeting, that the amendment that we just voted on be presented to the board.
Paused until when? Is there a?
That's not on us to determine.
Say that one more time. Pauses.
It is going up for vote based on what you said in February.
Correct.
We just asked for an amendment. We start a new process. So if they vote on the process, if they vote on the CRP, that null and votes the amendment that we just made, or you're gonna have to start all over again. Is that correct?
Oh, it would be amendment to the.
How would they know that if we don't share that with them before they vote?
That's why you can make the request during the presentation.
Oh, you're gonna put it on me?
I'm happy to have those conversations. I'm happy to have those conversations with the board. I was just saying to make them aware.
Sure.
East Tampa CAC chair and representative.
So I would say to them, would you be kind enough to pause your vote today?
Well,
it would sound so much better if our committee was behind me with that pause. They can vote not, but I think it will be great for me to share the pleasure of the committee that we've asked for the board to pause voting on the CRP until this process is completed.
And I mean, because we're meeting very early on in January, I would have to share that information during their briefings for the February meeting in advance anyway. Yeah. So they would know it was coming before. Yeah. Well before the February 12th meeting.
Right. Okay. Sorry, can I ask one more question? is the pause completely necessary if they have to if staff completely has to start a new RFP process? Because right now, we're operating off a 2004 document.
No,
Like,
yeah, 2004, yes.
yeah, I mean, we're operating off a really old document, so we're asking. I'm nervous because every time we ask for a pause, things go away indefinitely.
It may not be necessary. I don't know. Mr. McCray it may not be necessary, and I'm okay to rescind what my motion is. You know, I want to be clear with that. I'm not stuck to that. I just want to make sure that the proper communication is articulated to the board for them to make whatever necessary decisions.
So, I was gonna say, would it be possible to amend the motion to include that Dr. Johnson gave us a great presentation, this discussion, and offers the best, most efficient way to proceed at the pleasure of the CRA.
I rescind my motion. I'll make sure I use my words carefully when I make presentation. How about that?
Yeah.
All right.
For me personally, I do support extending. This is Mimi for the record. I do support extending our CRA. I just don't have enough information right now. And I would love the opportunity to at least look at another CRA who's been successful in extending it. And we do have an example already that was given to us in our packet. And I would love to see what they've done and what roadblocks that they came across, just to kind of have something, because I feel like right now I'm flying in the dark. And I don't want to make any kind of motions without knowing what are we all getting into. I don't know if that's possible.
I can do all kinds of research and look for
present
more.
something to us at the next meeting so that we can at least have something to look at to kind of draw a stronger informed decision.
We've already voted.
The conference
We
can still bring it back.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely.
That's what I'm asking for.
Yeah.
To support.
Thank you. My motion is rescinded. We can carry on with the rest of the agenda.
Which motion? The pause?
Yes, the
Yeah,
pause.
okay.
All right. This meeting has gone
on too long. All right. East Tampa CRA owned land legacy strategy. Could we do that in 5 minutes? Can you do that in 5 minutes?
Probably faster.
Thank you.
Because we have several properties that we own in the East Tampa CRA. I would like to mention one that was already mentioned earlier, was the Gator Building, and that's one property in the community that I know people are passionate about. That's the right word. We've been working on an updated concept plan and design based on previous community feedback that came back from other plans that were put forward. So I, as a new staff person, I've been doing a lot of research, not just from today. I've been watching some of the older CAC meetings to get the real opinion from the community, understand what the community really wants. And so I'm meeting with staff from within the city to come up with a final concept based on what we've heard. And I'd like to have the opportunity to present that concept next month after we finish meeting with the team inside. And then I think then we can move forward from there if you're all in agreement with an engagement process, and not just surveys, but an actual engagement process where I go out with the community, not just meet with staff, to do in-person engagement sessions, not just one, not just two, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 within a 2-week period, so we're not just dragging this out. And then I think the final engagement session will be here, the CAC, and then take all that information, see what the community really wants for the Gator Building, based on the concepts that we provide. We'll take all that feedback, and then we get a consultant to provide a final set of couple of options where we would have an open house. And that's what we've been planning for the Gator Building, because I know that was just the first one mentioned. And so we don't have anything right now moving forward. These are all something I'd like to present next month. So
and we will give you grace because you are the new manager, but I want you to know, because you have not been here, the displeasure that there are projects that have been purchased or or properties over 10, 12 years that have been stagnant, that nothing has been done. And we've seen the engagement, we've heard what's going to happen, and nothing has happened. I am disappointed, and I understand that Ms. Parks is not here, but we were promised a presentation in January, and that was in September, I believe, of where these projects are going to go, because this sounds like continual communication next month, next month, next month. So we want to be very strategic about that. Because you don't know that the board can speak for themselves. I'm inclined to give grace to that for you to work the strategy that you think is best. But I do know if something is not done sooner than later, is going to be even more outcry from the community because these projects haven't started.
I understand that.
Ms. Tate, you're recognized.
I'm sorry. We have approximately, when I served as chair, 2021, I took a look at the properties that were purchased. It's almost approximately 21 lots that we have that some are overgrown and not manicured, not taken care of. We have property out there that's just out there. So are you aware of those lots?
I know I have a list of lots that we own. I'm pretty sure we do maintain the lots. We keep them fenced in, we keep them manicured. If there are any in particular that I'm not aware of,
I'll be more
might.
than happy. I'll be more than happy to send you the document.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Sir,
No, please do.
She keeps every receipt. So
All right.
she has.
And
Yes, I do. I'll be more than happy to send you
so I can help you. So.
Board, do we have your pleasure to give Mr. Nunez grace to do what he feels is best? Is that consensus as the new manager? But we just wanted to share with you some of the frustration from the community. All right.
Well, I'm definitely working on the Gator building for sure, and I do have another follow up from Dee. She wants to present this in February, a more robust presentation for the Halifax site and the 12th and Osborne sites. The RFPs are finally in legal review, and we're hoping to put them out for February. So and Bree will come back to present that. That's her goal, her target goal. But until the legal review is complete, we cannot make any movement forward. But her goal, that's her words today from our discussion, and she'd like to come and present about it in February with some more updated information at the time. And I know there's a lot of individual properties for the infill program, and those are under final review right now by administration. If that's not correct, that's to be told me.
To be clear, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
So we have two RFPs that have been submitted for legal review. One is for the property on Halifax 19th, Halifax and Osborne, and then 12th and Osborne for review. If you recall, we have been assembling parcels for the newer members within those two areas, primarily for to meet the CAC's request of affordable housing options in East Tampa, because we have made that a priority over the last 3 years. So that's the RFPs that are being reviewed legally by Attorney Shepherd. Once we have that information, his feedback, then we will begin the process to submit the RFP for solicitation.
Dr. Greatness first, will you send him out?
What?
Mr. McCray, we have several new members. Are you going to schedule the board orientation for the new members?
Actually, I was going to mention that during new business.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Proposed date.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Nunez?
Under the info program, they're working on reviewing so they can release plans for those. Those are going to require a little bit more work, and we can speak to in February about the infill program. That's it for the East Tampa CRA owned land strategy, and I can
housing. Yep, housing program and developer activity.
Yeah, it kind of overlaps a little, so that's why I'm putting it together. For the unit and conversion program, B has 2 pending applications. They were received prior to the program being closed, and she's working to get them up and moving. It's Ms. Victoria Watson. She's the developer of 21 units at the property located 2917 North 34th Street. This is not CRA owned property, but it is something we're looking to move forward to help develop new 21 affordable units at or below 80% of the AMI. She also hopes to have a presentation ready for you on 2 developers. The other one is I broke down the developers, Domain Homes, and they're planning to develop 16 units. All for affordable home ownership, not just apartments. And the plan design there is 16 units, 2 of them detached single families, and the other 14 townhome style. And
Tell me where that was, the domain home?
the main home, the plan is oh, I don't know that. Oh, I didn't write that address.
It's actually.
Where's that?
The property that they're looking to redevelop is right south of Lake Avenue off of Republic to Cuba.
Right. Thank you.
They have a tract there of land.
Mimi, is that your district? That's your.
But when you
Both,
talk to
okay.
the city, they claim that they finished that $100 million contract that Buckhorn gave them. So they're still developing in our neighborhoods?
Yeah. Well, just like I can't speak to that if they have a situation where they're acquiring property in a specific.
They are required.
Yes,
they are acquiring it from
the CRA has not committed any funds for any development.
Okay.
For that specifically, that has not come before you. He is just providing an update on the either interest and or applications that may have been submitted.
Right.
Yeah, that construction's underway now. I see that development right there. It's breaking hard. Definitely. Wow.
And Ms. Parks will come back.
Yeah.
And Lake. And Ms. Parks will come back with a full presentation in February. We determined that today. So.
Is there anything else with housing?
I don't. Do you have anything to add to the housing update? Those are just an overview I have for housing with the promise in February with a full detailed report.
Thank you. We'll look to that as well as providing you the grace that you need to do what you've asked for. Our staff reports, the East Tampa Project Tracker and the Commercial Grants Tracker committee members, you've all received that. Do you have any questions about that? What is in front of you? I don't think it's changed. So that's correct. That's correct. Yep. Yeah. You see why we fighting? You see? Okay. Thank you. All right. Mr. Nunez and Mr. McCray, any reports that you would like to give at this time?
No, I just wanted to highlight, especially, I mean, everyone's welcome, but as it relates to the new members, we annually have an orientation to kind of make sure that we provide as much information as it relates to the state statute that governs us and some of the various projects and the aims and purposes through all of our CRAs to remediate slum and blight. It's not just East Tampa specific, but the other 8 CACs are also invited, and it actually will be here in this room. We're tentatively scheduled for March 9th, Monday, March 9th. So if you can go ahead and block that out on your calendars, and you will receive more information moving forward. But March 9th, 4:30 to 6 p.m.
Orientation.
Okay.
Orientation. Yes.
Okay.
And where is it? Right here.
Right.
No, it's okay.
And that is tentative. We'll confirm it though.
Okay. All right. And that springboard into new business?
Yes.
All right.
Well, I did have a couple of things to mention.
Yep.
The commercial interior grant and the commercial exterior grant programs are now open for applications. They opened up yesterday. That's for the commercial interior and exterior grants.
And we have about $2 million for that. Pre-development grants funds 1.5 million.
Well, no, pre-development is still not open, and neither are the special project grants. Those are still being reviewed. So for commercial exterior, we have.
Hold on a second. Why are those being reviewed?
So at the previous CRA board meeting, they voted to move forward with the standard grants.
Correct.
Interior, exterior, and then we were going to have some follow-up conversation at a meeting in the near future.
I didn't realize that paused what we could possibly do until they figured out.
Correct.
Okay, so it does pause everything. Okay.
And those are the grants that are over $1 million.
Someone spoke in public comment about Keela and her projects, and that will fall under that with that pause.
If and or when the application was received, yes.
Okay. All right. But to answer your point, board, we have about $2.1 million in commercial exterior and interior grants. So to start that with.
Is there a flyer or a link that you can send so that we can share?
There's a flyer being reviewed now, and I can send out a link to everyone tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Just wanted to talk about the Fair Oaks Recreational Facility, how we had the ribbon cutting, and most of you were there on December 15th. And Dr. Johnson was so amicable to get us a private viewing for the CAC members. I thought that was a really wonderful group meeting, a group effort. Ms. Quarles took a lot of great photos as well, and I could share them with the team so everybody could see the photos. Thank you for that, Ms. Quarles. That's really all I have right now for you for staff report.
Okay. Under new business, Mr. McCray, I do want to highlight with our budget, those of you who are new to the committed friend, you can also attest to this. If you notice over the last few years, each of our cycles have begun with 30 million, 20 something $million, but we expended those funds from previous fiscal year to fund whatever we needed to. So even though this is low, I'm happy about that because that means we spent the money last year. So I do want to, I that's the whole purpose, is spend the money. You don't want to carry any money over. So I want to make that mention.
And Chair Johnson, I think, I want to, if you go to the affordable housing line item, we're just just the first quarter of the fiscal year. This is really the information we received from November. And already you see just the first two lines. I mean, you see what has been expended.
If I may share, Ms. Valerie, he's talking about rehab and what's already been done since the FY. How much money has been spent thus far since September?
Since October, 1.7 million.
So folk in East Tampa, it may not be people we know, but rehabs are taking place. So just make sure your residents get to the office to apply for those rehab funds. So it is taking place. Just get with Mr. McCray afterwards. Yep. Yes, Ms. Tate. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. White, you did have your hand up? I saw those nails.
My question, Mr. Nunez, and I asked this about 2 years ago when the city came and did the presentation for the Gator building.
Yes.
I asked a question, who is going to operate and maintain that building? And in 2 years, I have not gotten a response from anybody.
Well, we don't have any.
To your
Oh yes, ma'am. That's part of. We're going to address all the different possibilities, the different structures that we're going to.
So if you need, I have the folder.
Yeah. If anyone would like to put in some questions before I come back in February, send me some questions. Or
now
we would do thoughts.
We would do RFPs for those projects, correct?
Yes.
Because the CRA cannot manage them, and the quicker we get the RFPs out, the more we can see work done and getting in the right people to manage those properties, build on them to do whatever we need to do.
Because we know already how the county is going to do because they put out all their nonprofits.
Correct.
So we need to be prepared and take it a little bit further in preference for whatever we decide to do.
Agreed.
County has their own agenda.
Agreed. Mr. McCray, anything else you want to say about the budget? Down payment assistance, what is that amount this year?
430.
Okay.
So that is, and keep in mind.
All spent already.
Yes.
In 3 months.
Yes. And already, well, I would say going back to the last fiscal year, I think I may have made a comment during the November CAC meeting that
we pushed another.
2.1 million.
Yeah, we pushed a lot.
Down payment assistance.
These are the things, and I'm glad that the audience is here listening, that there's a lot that is taking place in East Tampa. We just got to spread that word. There are a lot of new homeowners that are receiving down payment assistance, those that need it, those that need rehab assistance. Now, the tree trimming program has ended.
Yes.
That is ended.
But how much was spent?
How much was spent? Was it $2 million?
No, it wasn't 2 million over from 22 when we reinstituted back to recent. I think because the board did make the request for an additional $100,000 over the summer. You're probably looking at right about 1.5 million, maybe 1.6. So
That's $2 million. Round it off. Yes.
Are we saying that we have 1 million in the tree trimming grant?
No. There's no longer a line item.
2022 until, or 21, 22, 23, 24, the present date, it's probably been around, and I'm estimating, but I know it's at least 1.5.
Remember, we decided to put more money towards affordable housing this fiscal year. So we moved it.
Okay.
So our budget is 46% around affordable housing.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have to run for my community, I'm gonna relocate for my community, because they are hitting me with tree trimming. They're hitting me with tree trimming.
So I will say that tree trimming is a component of the housing rehab and renovation program if there is a need.
They don't need no rehab, they need tree trimming. But I can also verify that I know of some homeowners that are getting the rehab done. I don't think it's legal for me to go take a picture and put it up.
No.
But Ms. Valerie, can you send me out posted?
Y'all gonna get us in trouble. We're not supposed to say.
But I can attest, yes, several houses I know, they're so happy. They are getting rehab.
Miss Martinez.
Hi, so Mimi for the record, so for the infrastructure and the capital project, I have a question about the ADA park enhancement programs. I believe at the last CRA meeting, they had a list, right, of what CRA playgrounds still get the ADA enhancements, right? Where are we at with that? I think you said you were gonna provide them with a list, right?
Yes.
Is that gonna be February?
We actually did it from Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
That is, the CRAs are a funding source to the work that Parks and Recreation is doing. It's my understanding they were bringing on board a project manager to help facilitate.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, but you know, we are essentially a funding source for that per the board.
Now y'all want to pack up when we used to have 2.5 hour meetings.
Parks.
Was that list
Don't get
given?
arrogant.
I may have missed it. Did Parks and Rec share that list already to the CRA board? I don't think
No,
so.
we actually have a list that
Oh, okay.
they shared with us.
Oh, okay.
That will be an update in the future.
Okay.
What,
All right.
300 parks they mentioned last week that they had within the city.
But this is for CRA Parks. I know that he was working on getting a list to present it to CRA. Oh.
Second question.
And the second question is, the survey is still open for our wayfinding and gateway study. January 11th is the deadline.
Could you resend
I can resend it to everyone.
Yes. You said that last week or 2 weeks ago?
I think it was 2 weeks ago. So yeah.
Because we hear a lot of people say the community's never heard, so here's your chance.
We're getting a lot of good feedback. We're getting a lot of feedback. I don't know if it's good, bad, or different, but we're getting a lot of responses. So that's the important thing. So we're good.
As we bring this meeting to a close, our next board meeting will be the next CRA board meeting is January 15th at 9:00 a.m. And then the next East Tampa CAC meeting is February 3rd, 2026, right here at 6:00 p.m. And be it known that we're getting out at 1 hour and 30 minutes when our board meetings used to be 3 hours. So,
well, thank you for that.
I bring this meeting to adjournment.
7:32.
All of that in an hour and a half.
Getting better. I gotta close it. That's up.